I gotta talk to Mr. Sabatino.
Okay,
Mr.
Mr.
Sabatino,
Mr.
so
Ben.
were you being honest or did you mislead the people
No,
of
I
Yonkers?
did not mislead the people. I told you very clearly that I was not opposed to extending term limits, and that's what it is. We are the only city in Westchester that has term limits. Rochester has 3 terms. The county has 3 terms. And already there's erroneous information out about me. I am not doing this to get my pension. I am a tier 3. So I worked at the Westchester County Medical Center way back in the 70s and other places, and I'm already vested in my pension. So
Mr.
that needs to
Sabatino,
be
Mr.
corrected.
Sabatino, let me also correct you. I don't want to make somebody else's words my words. I never mentioned anything about your
No,
pension.
I'm just saying that so that it goes on the record, so that we can eliminate that as my reason for extending term limits. I'm already vested.
Well, Mr. Sabatino, I have the utmost respect for
And
you.
I do for you too, Ben.
So-
In fact, I have a text on my phone that I was going to send to you, and it says, Ben, I have respect for you, but I want to clear up a few things. So now I'm
Here
here
we
in
are.
front of you.
Here we are. Okay, and my style is not to slander, is not to talk bad, but I'm a reporter,
And you have to do your job.
and I have to
get
do
it.
my job. It's not personal, please.
I know,
Okay.
and I get it. I understand it.
No.
But it's also important for me to set the record straight. As
It
well.
did, and that's the reason why I approached you. So
Yeah.
now you have the opportunity to set the record straight and to tell people what it is.
So let me tell you, what's been going on in the last few weeks is that we've been getting a lot of feedback. I have had people calling me and saying, listen, I mean, this is about me. You know, I'm not a person who has a big ego. I'm not, you know, we like what you're doing. We want you to stay. We want you to stay. So we have a sense that in the community, people want things to continue as they are and to keep the team together because they see the progress that's being made. Now, not everybody's going to agree with that. Some people may say there is no progress. I don't know, but the general consensus is that. So I feel that, you know, things are going well and we are getting feedback, and, you know, the opportunity for the people to make the decision will come at election day.
Well, you know, Mr. Sabatino, actually, my problem was because when I interviewed you, I already knew where you stand. Okay, the reason I asked and specifically said, Mr. Sabatino, are you telling me that today, October 17, you know nothing about term limits and an extension? I already knew that you knew.
So
why
I
not
did
being
want-
honest? Why not just being honest?
Listen, I did not, I just didn't want listen, everybody knew the conversation was going on. We talked about it even before in the
That's
interview.
correct.
It was going on. The question you asked was about the legislation. The legislation had not been completed.
Was about term limits, Mr. Sabatino. Do you know anything about term limit?
Right.
I wish you had told me, yes, I know, but
Well, you know, listen, I didn't. So I apologize to the community. We were working things out. Believe me, the last few days have been very difficult with the sense of, do we do this or don't we do this? What's the feedback? And the consensus was that we had a lot of positive feedback, and we felt that, listen, the ultimate thing is the residents can decide on who they want when it comes to election day. And we still have to go through the process.
yeah. No, but Mr. Sabatino, look, on a personal level, I might be in favor of this, but I'm not here to ask personal questions. And what I think it's really irrelevant. I'm asking you questions because the people of Yonkers wants to know.
Right.
And the people of Yonkers have voted twice on rejecting this. What's different now?
Okay, so they voted on rejecting repealing term limits. This isn't anything about repealing term limits. This is about extending it one more term, and it's in sync with what the county does. They have 12 years, but they have 6 two-year terms that they could run. The county executive has 3 four-year terms. So we felt that, excuse me, I'm getting over a sinus infection. We felt that we could make it consistent. And then we did a lot of research No other city even has term limits in Westchester County. Mount Vernon doesn't, White Plains doesn't, New Rochelle doesn't have term limits. And in fact, Buffalo doesn't have term limits. There's very few municipalities that have term limits in New York. So the point is that we are not overturning it. I know that's the way it's going to be attacked, but we are extending it, we're modifying the way it's
Well, Mr. Moranti, on the interview, he said that the people of Yonkers are smart enough. And I agree with him.
Yeah.
So the people are smart enough to understand that this is not about eliminating term limits. But once you change term limits from 2 to 3, you're actually eliminating a 2-term limits. You're going to 3. So so we can play with words, but it is an elimination of 2 terms.
So, as I said, the voters are going to decide whether they want us or they don't. I mean,
Thank you, sir.
I don't know what else I can say.
I wish you had told me that day.
You know, the thing was, and I have to be honest, this was being tossed about for the last, week or two, and we didn't really finally come to a consensus until yesterday.
So it was not a rumor after all. You were talking about
It was
it.
not a rumor.
Thank you, sir.